The diagnosis. She could barely stand. The pain was like knives twisting inside her. Every step felt like fire. Every breath, a quiet cry for help. After years of surgeries, hospital stays, and endless medication, a doctor finally looked her in the eye and said what no one ever wants to hear. If you don't agree to another surgery, you'll be committing conscious suicide. At best, you have 6 months left. Silence. Heavy. Paralyzing. She didn't scream. She didn't beg. Because her soul was already exhausted. And in that moment, something inside her snapped. "I'm not doing this anymore," she told the doctor. She didn't say it out of defiance. She said it out of peace. If life was ending, then she would live the rest on her own terms. The unexpected awakening. The room was dark. Her body was broken. Her spirit, numb. She lay in bed staring at the ceiling, not waiting for a miracle, just waiting for the end. She grabbed her phone, typed something aimless into the search bar. Things to do before you die. Skydiving. A spiritual retreat. Watch the sunset one last time. Then, a video popped up. A name she had never heard before. Amit Goswami. She clicked. And what she heard didn't feel like learning something new. It felt like remembering something ancient. Your thoughts and emotions create your reality. Her heart skipped. She didn't laugh or doubt it. Even as a woman trained in science and engineering, she just knew. She had found something real. That night, she dove headfirst into the world of quantum physics, metaphysics, and the deep connection between emotion and matter. What she discovered shocked her. According to metaphysics, the kidneys are energetically linked to fear, and her entire life had been soaked in fear. Fear of life, fear of death, fear of not being enough. Now she wasn't just trying to survive, she was starting to understand. The miracle. 3 months passed. 3 months of intense study. 3 months of mental rewiring. 3 months of choosing belief over fear. She still felt pain, but something inside her had changed. One night, she woke up with a stabbing ache, the kind that paralyzed her with every breath. She rushed to the hospital, admitted, hooked to morphine. A doctor walked in and asked, "You really want to leave? I mean, I respect all beliefs, but stupidity? I don't respect that." She smiled. "I'm already healed." Still drugged, she went home. The pain was dulled, but the pressure in her body was building. She went to the bathroom, sat down, and made a decision. "I'm not leaving until something happens." Then, something did happen. She felt as if hundreds of fire hoses were blasting from inside her abdomen, and just like that, all the kidney stones passed. Every single one. No blood, no pain, no explanation. She put them in a glove, went back to the hospital, and handed them to the doctor. His face turned white. They ran tests, then ran more. Over and over again. Nothing. No sign of trauma, no sign of injury, no scientific explanation. Her case was presented at a National Urology Congress as an unexplainable anomaly. But to her, it was simple. The mind healed what the body couldn't. The forgotten childhood. Long before the hospital beds, long before the surgeries, the real pain had already taken hold in a little girl's heart. Her father left before she could walk. Her mother, only 18, couldn't stay either. So she was raised by her grandparents, strict, devout, and afraid of anything they couldn't explain. But the girl was different. From an early age, she saw things, figures, shadows, entities. She'd wake up screaming in the night, and instead of comfort, she heard, "You need more prayer. You're letting the devil in." They called her visions evil. They told her she was wrong, so she began to believe it. She wasn't gifted, she was cursed. And just when you think it couldn't get darker, her grandfather made bedtime stories even worse. He read her the book of Revelation. "This world is ending," he'd say. "You need to prepare your soul." He described the lake of fire, the eternal torment, the punishment for sin. So every time she thought of ending her own life, she'd stop. What if it's true? The fear of burning forever kept her alive. It was twisted, but it saved her. That fear became her survival mechanism, but it also became the poison, because fear is exactly what was killing her from the inside out. The war against poverty. At 18, she stepped into the world alone. No safety net, no savings, and nowhere to fall back on. But one thought echoed louder than her fear. "I'm going to work, make money, and disappear." Her first job was at a call center, 7 days a week, 260 Rs a month, barely enough for food. She moved on to selling credit cards in shopping malls. Rejected, ignored, humiliated. But she kept going. When even that wasn't enough, she started selling bootleg CDs, DVDs, knockoff clothes, whatever she could carry. Poverty was the battlefield. Survival was the only mission. Then one day, sitting on a crowded bus, she saw a banner on a technical school. Scholarships up to 50% off. Take the exam. She signed up for the biomedicine course, not because she loved it, but because the name sounded powerful. While waiting, a teacher approached her and said, "Do you really want to spend your life working with pee and poop?" She laughed awkwardly. He offered her an alternative, safety engineering. The pay was better. The path was clearer. She switched courses on the spot, took the test, got the scholarship, and for the first time, she felt the spark of possibility. She finished the course, found an internship, but then came the global economic crisis. Companies shut down. Layoffs swept through the country. Once again, she was back at zero. She returned to the streets, selling goods to survive. But now, something had changed. She wasn't just fighting for money, she was fighting for her future. And every rejection, every hardship whispered, "Nothing is easy, but everything is possible." The restart without guarantees. She was healed. The tests said it was impossible, but she had lived the impossible. And now, the comfortable life she had built, the stable job, the nice car, the growing career in safety and environmental management, felt too small for what she had become. So she did something no one around her understood. She walked away from it all. No backup plan, no savings, just one belief etched deep in her soul. The how is not my problem, it's the universe's. She started with what she had, her story. She began calling old colleagues, bosses, directors. "Let me give a talk, just once. People need to hear this." They responded, "Only if it's for free." And she said yes. She gave motivational talks based on quantum physics and healing. And in the very first ones, people came up to her and asked, "Do you work one-on-one?" She didn't know what to say. She wasn't a therapist, she didn't have a system, but she replied anyway. "Yes, I do." She had no method, no process, but she had experience. She had results, she had truth. She started teaching what had healed her, how thoughts shape emotions, how emotions influence the body, how the mind is a tool far more powerful than we're ever taught. And what happened next was undeniable. People began healing, from anxiety, from trauma, even from physical illness. They shared her name, her phone buzzed, and just like that, a new life was beginning. The digital turning point. Her clinic was thriving, 2 full floors, prime location, clients lining up, a $25,000 a month in income. She was the richest person in her family. Then, the pandemic hit. Lockdowns. No more in-person sessions, no more clients walking through her door. For a second, fear crept in, but she wasn't the same woman who once surrendered in a hospital bed. She took a breath and asked herself, "What's in my control right now?" She had never hypnotized anyone online. She had no idea if it would work, but she tried anyway, and it worked. Online sessions began to take off, but many people couldn't afford even her modest fees. So, she made a decision that stunned everyone around her. She gave it all away, created WhatsApp groups, offered her full mental reprogramming programs for free, and then a brilliant idea hit her. If you want to stay in the group, just post a story every day about your transformation. People did, and the stories began spreading. Her reach exploded. Word of mouth turned into wildfire. The universe was responding. Again. Then one day she saw an ad. Promote your content on Resiliencia Humana. 3 posts for $500. Back then, that was a huge amount for her. But she felt something deep in her gut. "I'm going to risk it." The first post went up. 15K followers. 18K. 20K. 30K. In seconds. In 1 month, she hit 100,000 followers. 3 months later, 200,000. What began as a gift became a movement. What began as survival became purpose. And her company, born out of surrender and service, now stood on the edge of something massive, the philosophy of creation. Today, she earns millions a year. But if you ask her the secret, she won't talk about marketing hacks, funnels, or perfect strategies. She'll say something simple, powerful, and completely counterintuitive. My job is to create. The how is none of my business. The how is the universe's responsibility. She studied endlessly. She served selflessly. And she worked relentlessly. 5 straight years, 7 days a week, no vacations, no new clothes, no distractions, just vision, conviction, and massive inspired action. People often ask her, "So I just imagine what I want and wait for it?" She smiles and says, "No, you imagine it, you feel it, and then you build it, step by step, brick by brick, even when no one else sees it yet." That's how she healed. That's how she grew. That's how she helped thousands transform their lives. From chronic illness, to depression, to lost purpose. And it all started the day a doctor said, "You have 6 months to live." But instead of counting down to the end, She created a whole new beginning,